the People Cemetery and Undertaker Thomas Brown. In the year of 1840, William and Edith Williams gave 1 acre of land to 28 prominent black families. That was to be used specifically as a graveyard. In 1865, William Williams, he sold 2 acres to 10 freemen, one of which was Undertaker Thomas Scott. In 1868, 3 black craftsmen, they buy 5 1/8 acres of land adjoining this from the Williams estate. This was also to be used as a cemetery, and these plots were all private. Of those 3 plots, some interesting things happened. One family actually built a small house on it. In 1877, one of the 1868 lots was purchased, again by a private family. 1879, the second of those lots was bought. And that same year, 1879, Undertaker Thomas Scott, he purchased the northern part of the 3rd plot. That became known as the Scott Cemetery. Because most of the cemetery was privately owned, it was called a variety of names that also caused some serious issues with both maintenance and record keeping. The address of Thomas Scott's funeral parlor in 1889 was 119 Halifax Street. In the year of 1906, the Women's Union Cemetery Club, they purchased an iron fence and a gate to go around the graveyard, and started being called the Providence Cemetery. In the early 1900s, Thomas Brown started his career with Undertaker Thomas Scott. In 1903, he opened his own funeral parlor at 110 Harrison Street here in Petersburg. The address was 714 Rome Street. In the year of 1920, he moved his funeral parlor. Its address was now at 225 Perry Street. His home was still on Rome Street, but his house number was 1340. And that was the year that he became the sole owner of the Providence Cemetery. What he tried to do was he tried his best to get tax-exempt status for that area. Sadly, it never happened. In 1922, Thomas Scott organized the Colored Cemetery Association. He had plans brought up to bring the cemetery up to code and improve the grounds. Sadly, the money to make this happen was to come from private donations, and that just never happened. In 1926, this project was tried again, this time by the Cemetery Memorial Association, along with the Black Chamber of Commerce, but they had the same results. In 1931, the 2.5 acres on the northern border of the cemetery, this would be near Little Church Road. That was called the Little Church Cemetery. Undertaker JM Wilkerson, he owned that from the years of 1939 all the way up until the 1950s. That area had 3 names. People Cemetery was known as Eastview, Providence, and Wilkerson. In 1943, Crater Road was widened. There was 108 graves where north to south. There would have been 108 graves in the 2 southbound lanes of South Crater Road. However, Thomas Brown had those moved. They were moved to what is now the very, very back section of that cemetery. The fence and the gate was also taken down by the city. Now, sadly, those were lost forever. As far as Mr. Thomas Brown, he stayed at his location at 301 Gill Street from 1933 up until 1953. 1939, he actually moved into the funeral parlor, and that's where he stayed until his death sometime in the year of 1953. I spoke to a person named Mr. Jones. Hey, Mr. Jones, if you're watching, hey. But he used to live on Little Church Road. He may still live there. When he was a boy in the 1970s, they called those woods haunted. He said that the whole area down near Bunker Hill, those was the haunted woods. And he wasn't even aware. He said that as a kid, they didn't even know that there was a cemetery back there. They called it the haunted woods because of the Williams grave. Those stones are flush to the ground. Now, the reason for that is because in 1840, when the first section of this cemetery was deeded, approximately 1/4 of Petersburg's population was free people of color. So these free people of color, they were craftsmen. They had professions like carpenters, blacksmiths, mechanics, pastors. Shoemaking was a really big profession here in Petersburg. The free people of color, they had organized churches, and they also had organized benevolent societies. Now, with benevolent societies, basically what they did was, and this wasn't just for people of color, this was, the people of color, of course, had their own benevolent societies, but other benevolent societies, the Odd Fellows is a really good example. What they did was they made sure that people got proper burials. They collected initiation fees and monthly dues. That money was used when that person passed away to make sure that each member had internship or an internship square. Cash was also granted to each family member. Each member of a benevolent society had to go to each other's funeral, and that became their primary function. So a lot of these graves, you can see, are flush to the ground, and that's the reason. Now, People's Cemetery, it appears to be a disorganized mess. There's no actual paths. There's very little fence. The city, it's some point from 2000 going forward, started to take ownership, or started to take maintenance responsibility of the cemetery. The grass gets maintained, but other than that, not too much ever happens over here. Thank you for tuning in today. Source information for this video mostly came from the Department of Human Resources, People's Cemetery nomination form. Addresses came from the city directory. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button so you get notified of the next video. And take care. Have a great day.